What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube video. I just want to let you guys know that I post every single day, a short at least. Once a week, I'm posting a long form. So make sure to put on your notifications and make sure you're following and you're subscribed to my channel to keep up to date to all the videos that I make. Now, with that being said, what are we talking about today? I'm being very dramatic. I don't know why. But what are we talking about today? We are talking about Kristy, Sarah Scott, and Desmond Scott and their divorce. Now, everybody has been talking. News after news, people are talking about the drama, what's going on, this and that. I waited. I did. Why did I wait? I'll tell you why I waited. I waited because I wanted to see what was going to happen. The way Desmond responded, one, kudos to him, took accountability in 2.2 of a second, which is very, very shocking because that's not very common that we see. And then the videos that everyone's making. So the second everybody saw that Kristy, Sarah, and Desmond Scott were getting divorced, the women went on social media and started making these videos about how he was threatened by her. And this is before he released his statement. And that she had more power than him and he felt insecure. And I found this one video. We're going to watch it together. It's very long. It's 2 minutes and 24 seconds. I will be honest. I did not watch the full thing. Nope. But I am now. I will. Am I going to make faces? 1,000%. Am I going to get annoyed? 2,000,000,000%. But I want to react to this video and I might even write things down, because I want to talk about certain points that she makes. So we might do that too. So again, make sure you're subscribing to the channel, okay? Anyways, let's get it started. Let me get my pen and my paper. Hold on.
If you're too powerful for a man, he will end up cheating on you. If you trigger a man's fragile ego and make him feel inferior next to you, he will run to another woman who makes him feel like the man again. Viral social media couple Kristy and Desmond are getting a divorce after more than 10 years of being together. And everyone's asking me, how come? Why these two? They seem so perfect for each other. My simple answer, she outgrew him. He's got the bigger network. She's got the bigger following. She's getting all of the views. She's getting all of the attention. She's constantly traveling for work. She's a more creative one. She's a more funny one. She is the star of the relationship. He's kind of just there. He's a stay-at-home husband. He's somewhat in the background. As you know, I always tell you, you should be out of your man's league. You should be better than him. But be careful, because if you outgrow a man too much and you trigger his fragile ego and he feels lesser than you, he feels humiliated or maybe emasculated next to you, he will run to another woman that is easier than you out of spite for him to feel manly again. Men do not necessarily cheat on you just because they don't love you anymore, not because they lost feelings for you or have no more spark or connection to you. You could still be a man's absolute number one and dream girl, but as soon as a man feels lesser than you, it becomes a power play and he will go to great lengths, even to another woman, just to boost his own ego up again. Men are extremely competitive, so if you as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a partner start slowly outgrowing your man, he will start to compete with you. But once he realizes he cannot compete with you, he cannot fight the battle with you, it's too hard for him, so he runs to another woman who's easier than you, simply to soothe his broken ego. There is no blueprint that will guarantee you loyalty and commitment for the rest of your days. 2 lessons we can learn here, ladies. Number 1, all men are capable of cheating, so at least choose the right one who provides for you, spends money on you, and treats you right in the process. So if he chooses to cheat on you one day, at least there's no overcompensation from your end where you feel like you lost everything. Lesson number 2, never sacrifice your own goals and dreams. She was always the main character of her own life. She always chose her dreams, her goals, her career. She always put up new content. She now has an amazing network and business she can simply fall back on. Not all women are as smart as her, because some women get cheated on, get a divorce, and all of a sudden need to completely rebuild their life again, because all they ever did was invest into the relationship, marriage, and a man, as opposed to investing back into themselves. If you want to learn more, click the link in my bio and I'll see you there.
Did she annoy me? 1,000%. Did I get irritated? 2,000,000,000%. Is this getting annoying? 1,000%. Does everything have to be about a competition? No. So let's talk about it. I think I'm just going to hold the mic in my hand now just because it's getting annoying on my shirt. Triggering a man's ego. How did Kristy trigger his ego? If anybody knows about Kristy Sarah's content, and I've been watching them for years, they started, first of all, the content that they started was her doing outlandish shit for her husband, pranking her husband, whatever it was, and getting his reactions. That was her content. Her husband was technically that was her niche. Husband's reactions, and it blew up. Her husband's content was cooking. Not the same thing. Not the same thing whatsoever. It was literally polar opposites. His was more calm and relaxed, and hers was always chaotic. So yes, people do tend to go to the more chaotic ways and will gravitate to her channel because they enjoyed seeing the chaoticness. Let's just be honest. She then later grew her page more when she started doing her like running in heels, tricks and kicks type of thing. And sometimes her husband would be in the background and she would do videos with him there too and get his reaction. But to say she is bigger than him, greater than him, my dear, if it wasn't for him being in those videos, if her husband wasn't her niche and helping her grow her channel, they would not be where they are today. Just an FYI. Okay, next. I don't believe the internet's asking her why did they get divorced and what's going on and her opinion. I think she's just using it as a hook. But if you are, why are you? She doesn't know them. She doesn't know their story. She doesn't know their life story. She doesn't know what they've gone through, the problems that they've had. Nothing. So why are you asking her? That's the one thing that baffles me. It's like you're running to people who don't know them for advice. And if that's the case, you guys are insane. But again, I don't think people actually are. I think that's just for the hook of the title of the whole video to get people watching. Like myself. We spoke about her, the concept of she's a star. She's the star of the show. She's this, she's that. She's just very more outgrowing. Another thing that she said is that they've been together for over 10 years and so on and so forth. Now, do you think, okay, let's use our brains, okay, guys? We're going to use our brains. 10 years, over 10 years. You don't think it's possible that people could outgrow each other? After having kids, after having a whole life together and everything? I'm not condoning cheating. I'm just having us use our brains for a second. Do we not think that people could outgrow their partner and that they're going in two different wavelengths? It's normal. It happens. But to sit there and say they've been together for 10 years, his ego got on the best of him. This is a woman that responded right away when she heard about the news. That's what it's giving. It's giving, I hear, I report, and I give my thoughts and opinions and make it all about women empowerment, which is not the case. And I personally think there's more to their story than what we know. But they're 14 when they met. 14. You know how, like, they're babies. They're obviously going to be in two different paths of their lives. They're like, what, probably 30 now? 31? Who knows? Whatever it is. Like, it doesn't amaze me that this is happening. It really doesn't. We're going to continue. She also then says, it's not good for a woman to outgrow a man's status. So if a man is making less than his wife, it's not good for his ego. That is true to some extent. But in their case, I will say again, I don't believe that's the case. I believe, in my humble opinion, he helped her make her account to what it is. She did the ideas and the outlandish stuff, but to who? To her husband. For what? To get a reaction. If it wasn't for his reactions, and don't you have to admit, his reactions are hilarious. The way he yells and screams, goes, like, come on. So, no, I think she's wrong when it comes to them. Next. She said also that he will cheat because of that due to ego, whatever. Again, like I said, I don't think that correlates to their situation whatsoever. That's just my opinion. If a man feels like he has to compete with you, he will then cheat on you if he can't. I mean, listen, men cheat, women cheat, everyone cheats. It's life. Men just get caught more than women do. If you guys could live with someone that's a cheater, then cool. If it happens once, fine. If they're a serial cheater, you do as you please, like she said, and you judge based off that. However, again, I don't believe that correlates to their situation whatsoever, humbly speaking. And the reason why I say that, and the reason why I'm very utterly disagreeing with her, is because of this video that I had found next. And this video really, I don't want to say justified, but said more for those who don't know them as a couple, who don't follow them as a couple like that, who aren't invested, because people were invested into their life on social media, but they didn't know them that well. This creator came out and she basically said how apparently Jehovah Witnesses, no idea, and who cares, right? But hear what she had to say.
Before you call Desmond Scott a cheater, listen to this. Most people don't realize what it's like inside of this religion. They're Jehovah's Witnesses, and as an ex-Jehovah's Witness, I'm going to tell you how divorce actually works in the religion. With Jehovah's Witnesses, the only scriptural reason for divorce is if someone cheats. That's literally the loophole. The hurt spouse, the one that was allegedly cheated on or wronged, are the ones who call the shots. They're the ones who make the decision as to whether to continue the marriage or end it completely. Even if one spouse wants out, it's not up to them. In JW divorces, someone might be technically labeled as a cheater to make the divorce valid, but that doesn't mean someone actually cheated. The wrong spouse has to declare that there is no chance of reconciliation for the divorce to be taken seriously. Maybe one spouse doesn't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. Maybe one spouse is gay. We just don't know. The system still relies on this loophole for both people to be free. And kids are involved, which makes this even more complicated. I'm not saying anyone cheated. We don't know that. I'm not condoning cheating either. But judging a JW divorce online is more complicated than it looks. And honestly, we don't really know what their marriage was like. Social media fake out is real. Don't make assumptions just from the content you see.
Before I get into this video, I wanted to say one more thing. We as a society need to stop glamorizing, is the word I want to use, glamorizing these social media couples and look at them as something that we wish for and that we want and that we idolize and that we yearn in our lives. If you want to love, a real love, go find it. Go look for it. But to try to look for it in a different person, we don't know what goes on behind these cameras. I don't know you and you don't know me. I don't know your life and you don't know my life. But that doesn't mean you have to idolize the couple that's, doing content. And I always said, God willing, when I blow up on social media and God willing, when I find my husband and I have my children, all that stuff, I'm really going to be separating the two. Because social media is so toxic, but also I don't want people glamorizing my life. Because you won't know what it's like. The privacy is very real. Now, I understand that people love seeing love and they love the idea of love and it gives them hope and whatever. Find hope within yourselves. Don't find it within others. Find hope within maybe people in your community that are still married and are happy. Look at outside in a real world. Do not look at through the internet and through the computer and through a phone or a computer or whatever, a tablet, because you don't know what their marriage or the relationship is like. So you're going out here and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Oh my God. But it's like, what do you mean you can't believe it? Maybe their friends and family saw it happening. Maybe they were going with serious issues. Maybe they were going through so much drama and problems that we have no idea about. But it doesn't give us the right to judge anybody. Anybody whatsoever. But everybody knows that social media thinks it's judge, jury, prosecutioner, and that, that's just the way it is today, but it's not. And it's kind of insane that people act this way. But the fact that he communicated with his wife and he told her, I want a separation, that says a lot. Because she knew where his mind was at. The action's not right, but she knew where the mind was at. She knew where he was in life and what he was thinking. However, they are JWs. And getting into this video and getting into what this woman said, did he do it just to get out? Is that possible? Did they plan this? How do we know what happened? We don't know. Does one of them no longer want to be a JW? Does one of them no longer, want to be... Did one of them fall out of love with one another? Who knows? Who knows? They're both very good-looking people. And it's very possible that two very good-looking people could fall out of love. It's very possible. But it doesn't mean that we could just judge if we don't understand their culture and their religion and what they practice. So let's say that is the case. And let's say they fell out of love and this was the only way. What are you going to say then? How are you going to judge him then? I don't hold any of them into a higher standard. If I had only one way out, I promise you I'm doing that. There's no other, and we both agree, I promise you it's happening. I promise you. If that's the only way, yeah, 100%. Because if I want out, I want out. Maybe they were both, maybe sometimes people need to separate to then come back together and, find their way back. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe she fell in love with somebody else. What about that? Is that possible? And if that is the case, is that okay? Maybe she cheated and he's just taking the heat for it because he knows she'll get more scrutiny. There's so many, we don't know. We don't know. But another influencer saw a picture of them together with their kids at an event. So clearly they're very cordial and they can get along very, very well. And they have no issues. So maybe they do have a very good understanding. Maybe they're just better off as co-parents. And they actually just did outgrow one another. And that's okay. That is really and truly okay. So I hope in 2026, this will be the year where we stop idolizing these social media content creator couples. If anything, we should have learned a long time ago from Ace family. Look how they got it. Look what happened to them. Look where they are now. Catherine's remarried. Austin is finding himself. I think people need to start realizing the internet's not a real place and it's an imagination that people just put a front on, and there's more behind the camera than you guys think. That's the lesson of the day. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Join the family. Again, I post every single day, you guys. Every single day I post. So make sure you have your notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.